Hi there, it's me again, Nate Trapp. I just wanted to make a video about deck building in Hearthstone. So if you're new to the game, it's kind of challenging because after getting a couple of cards, you don't know what to put, and most of the stuff they don't synergize very well. So for me, I found out the hard way that Mage is pretty much the easiest to play. Probably after that is a Rogue, even though we have a lot of combo points and all that. And it's the easiest to acquire a good deck of basic cards and budget cards as well. So we'll go over with the basic version that I've made for myself. Then you can pretty much add up and replace those cards with something else. So Arcane Missile pretty much goes in even with the budget or anything else as well. You need 2 of those right away. So 2 Frostbolts, that's pretty much a must as well if you want to go aggro mage. So basically there are like 3 type of deck builds, like aggro, mid-range, and control. So you don't even think you don't need to think about like a mid-range or control. They're like really focused on a late game with a mage to make your life simpler and easier. Actually go aggro at the very beginning until you figure it out. Easier to build a deck, easy to play as well, nothing too fancy about it. The game should be over by, pretty much you should figure out if you're winning or losing by the 6th or 7th mana at that point. And you can pretty much, I don't know, stop the game if you feel like you're losing at that point. So yeah, we're starting with 2 Arcane Missiles. It's a must. For 2 Frostballs as well. Those 2 Acidic Swamp Oozes, those are amazing cards. With the basic card, and that's pretty much the best one because that gives you all the right stats and also can actually destroy the weapons. If you're facing a rogue, warrior, or a paladin, I don't think anybody else has like a weapon. So that card got nerfed. Which one was like a 1-2 before, and you actually draw a card. But since there's nothing better now, so I still keep it in a basic deck. We can replace it with a Wood Hoarder if you have it. Arcane Intellect. At the very beginning I didn't put any of those cards, then I just started experimenting putting 1 or 2, so because I really don't want a card that actually draw another card, but as a mage using a lot of spells actually need that because you end up like with a lot of mana and have nothing to play. So those cards are pretty good, and I should include them every single in every single mage deck from now on. The Hunter, like Razorfen Hunter, pretty much one of the good 3 mana cards. I can replace it with something else if I start getting better cards, but for now as a basic deck, that's one of the good ones. That one is pretty much in every mage build I have. Like it's nothing crazy. However, it can buff your previous moves. If you're playing second with a coin, you can actually buff your even 1 creature or 2 mana creature, whatever you played before, and actually it's ready to attack immediately with a buff. So it's okay. It's nothing special, but it's a good card. Fireballs, it's a must. You need 2 of those. Polymorphs, yeah, you don't really need 2. However, because you don't have like amazing cards at the beginning as a basic deck, you better have 2 anyways. On a budget version of the same build I only have 1, but here just keep 2. Chewin Yeti, that's pretty much the best 4 you can get. There's nothing better than that. Ogre Magi, I put 2 of those because as a basic card, you rely on a couple of magics, like for example Fireballs, Arcane Missiles, Frostbolts, and some people even like the what is the Arcane Explosion. So actually can be quite good. It's a good 4 anyways with a spell damage, it's even better. That's the only taunt I have in the build, and it's pretty much the best taunt I can get at that range. There was something else as a 3. Actually, I don't like the Frostwolf grunt. It's not good enough for that situation. So that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good taunt, and eventually you can replace something else if you get. But for basic card, that should be there. Water Elemental, it's almost like a taunt because it has a lot of health and can freeze and all the minions and even like a hero's next turn. Because whenever he's getting attacked, so quite a lot of times I have like 2 or even 3 creatures attacking it and actually skip turn until they realize. That guy is solid, nothing special, no description or any special magic, but it's solid. Any card that has like equal or even more health for the mana, it's good enough. Like for example 6 with 6 attacks and 6 health is good enough, and that one is 7. It's solid, nothing special about it. And 2 flame strikes. Usually now with the budget I actually play with 1, because if you have to deal with 4 like 3 or 4 cards with 4 damage twice, probably the game should be over. But and it can't really rely on 2. I mean 1 is good enough. So but now for basic, that's you get 2 of those anyways, so that's pretty much a staple basic mage aggro build, and there is nothing special about it. And I don't think any other class can beat it can build basic deck that's so complete that you doesn't require any crafted cards. So let's go to the budget version of the same one, which is actually slightly better. Okay, that's what I usually use. So Arcane Missile, and there is a Mana Worm, which is, so we're gonna use only 3 cards, two of each. Each one of it's like a 40 mana, so it's like what is that, 280, 60, 240. Should be 240 dust you require for that build, and they're quite cheap. So pretty much you need the Mana Worm, Wood Hoarder, and Venture Call Mercenary. Everything else, it's basic being replaced. So we need Arcane Missile, Mana Worm. That card is so damn good, it's not even funny, because that's so far I think it's the best one mana card. I think, yeah. I've never seen anything else, especially for Mage. It's no-brainer. You need that, because any spell is being casted actually buffs that creature. For example, if you play second, you play that Mana Worm and flip a coin, and if you have a Frostbolt or or actually if you have like Arcane Missile, and in case if you play an Arcane Explosion, actually pretty much have an like amazing creature like ready to go with 2-3 on the first turn, or even like if you play second with a Frostbolt or anything else. I mean it buffs it up, like any spell you cast buffs it up. And okay, so Arcane Missile, 1 Mana Worm, Frostbolt as well, it stays there. It's nothing special, but it's solid card. So that card, I don't. Knife Jugglers are better than that, but let me see how much they cost. I mean, I think they were quite expensive. I was eyeing those Knife Jugglers. Well, 100 dust. I don't have that much. So if you wanna replace them both, it's gonna be 200 each. So let's continue without that one. That's a better version. it's good enough anyways. City Swamp Ooze, it's good enough too anyways. So Loot Hoarder, nothing special. It dies, draw a card. It's decent card anyways. Arcane Intellect, it stays in all my mages now because obviously you're gonna be lacking cards at that point. That card is so it stays there as well. That's one as well. Fireballs 2. Now with the Polymorph, like I said before, you don't need 2, you only need 1, because if any big creature should be able to deal with that with any of the fireballs or Polymorph. If you can't, there's something wrong about that, because probably the game is about to be over anyways. So Chillwind Yeti. So 2 of those, the S4 anyways. The Ogre Magi, it's solid card, stays there. The Taunt, Gaia's Engine, Shieldmaster, it stays there. I can't find anything better than that, but it's almost like a taunt, like I said before, but it's not really, and actually solves the game for the other character, the other hero. Venture Call, I love that card. I mean, ideally, if you can pull it off on the 4th with a coin, or the 5th as well, even though it actually swallows me after that, my opponent has like a big creature to deal with on the 4th turn or the 5th turn. So people say you might need only 1, but I consistently need it early on in the game, so having 2 of those in my deck increase my chance getting it early on. After that, if I have a lot of mana, probably it's not as good, but it's okay anyways. If you pull it off on the 4th and the 5th mana or turn, it's amazing card. Those, they stay there, they're solid, like I said. There is no magic, there is no spell, they're decent. And Flame Strike, only 1. I mean, if you have to deal with 2 waves, like I said, probably the game is about to be over. I can replace some of those cards with anything else that actually I'm getting meanwhile. So for example, I'm getting that Django Panther by replacing with the Ogre, but that's not, I mean, if you get it, I mean, eventually it's gonna drop from any of the decks. What else? Raging Organ can replace the other Ogre Magi, but that's in case if you have it, otherwise you just keep it the way it was. That Taunt and Rage, it's decent as well. I have 1 of it, and what I could replace with that one. One of the Hunters. I can replace one of the Hunters. Actually, I have 1 now. What else was mediocre? Yeah, Ogre Magi, I can replace that with the Tauren Warrior, because Ogre Magi, it's nothing special. I think I need that card more early on, and there are 2 more. Okay, so that one, it's kind of situational, could be quite helpful. So you can replace, if you get it, you can experiment. You can replace any other mediocre card. You might even try without like a sheep, without the polymorph. I was fine without the sheep before, but so I can do that as well. See, having a deck with the polymorph and without it as well. So those are the only one I can play with, I think, as a budget build. Nothing else. Yeah, that's a solid as well, even though cheap. So Ogre Magi can be replaced, and completely you can take off the polymorph as well. If you find that you need one, just replace the Tauren Warrior. Everything else stays the same. I guess that's one of the best cheap cheap builds. Yeah, that's about it. That's all for me. Have a nice day then. Bye.